All right, so I'm outside. I think that the public needs to understand a couple things. Number one, you're crossing a maxim, an ethical maxim, or metaphysics I'm aroused by Kant, a maxim that you throw sick people out on the street to die. Because every human has some sickness. No one is 100% perfectly wealthy and healthy with health. I got my illness when I was 20, and I was diagnosed with bipolar 1. And so I got put on disability of the government because there was no job I could work besides being an artist. And there's no guaranteed income with that, of course. But that happens all over this country. We have people diagnosed with chemical imbalances in the brain or mental illness, that there's not enough subsidy or empathy, sympathy to put them in a place like an economy apartment or something just to get them off the street, to get sober. Sometimes it's a dual diagnosis. But you do cross an ethical maxim. All these people with all this money, and you turn your backs on your family members and friends because their behaviors are difficult when they're ill. If they're well, the behaviors are good, but you have to strive for healthy people. Sometimes they need medications that can only be administered from a psychiatrist. But if they're not getting that help, you leave sick people out on the street. And a program of getting you off your street, you could say 500 from the federal government, go straight back to the corporate offices, corporations, wealthy individuals, and gets a homeless person off the street. Now be tax-free, 500 to them, put them in there, see if you can get counseling and get on medication, and maybe you can have a viable career, because we are not intellectually disabled people. I don't understand mental. I'm pretty sure it's a chemical imbalance that can be controlled oftentimes by simple medications such as lithium and Seroquel and Depakote and Risperdal. But when you get the diagnosis, you're in your early 20s, so you haven't put any points. So this is the only illness, disability, that we just put them out on the street and say, fend for yourself. If you broke your leg, do the same thing to them. If it's not crossing a maxim of health, anyone, even a neurosurgeon, has trouble at times. Maybe depression, maybe, who knows? But it's unethical, and you're doing it to me. I've called everywhere. There's no housing. I had to sign up on a list that maybe in 4 years I'll get housing. 4 years. It's unethical. And Congress and NAMI and all these people, Kay Jamison, need to not accept that kind of behavior or treatment from the public that's making these rules that they don't want homeless people with mental illness in their neighborhood. That's not up to them. Not if they can't understand what a maxim is. Because it's a categorical imperative. We take care of our healthy people, or else everybody would be living on the street. It is just one specific age group and a type of illness that we think it's okay to throw them out on the street. You ask my dad. He's like, well, no, nothing. She's crazy. Nothing's going to help her. He's blinded by his own disability that was never diagnosed. So the perpetration of this in our society is causing many, many casualties through suicide, mass murders that could have been caught earlier. Just simple irony that some people look at me and they think I'm crazy because they're dumb. They don't take the time to investigate. Like this one guy the other day, he was kind of gay and he got out of the car. I was having a bad day. My foot was hurting me. I had to walk. They didn't have my prescription. I had to walk all the way back. And he didn't even ask. He was just filming me. I was like, fuck you. And so he got all that on videotape. But just because one day in one instance is not perfect. But this guy, he was also trying to judge me. He's like, so what is it you use on your dogs? I'm like, I just didn't feel like being discriminated against. So some days I do that, but there were no kids around. Today was the cutest little boy with the tricycle in the VMFA. And I looked at him and his father and the lady. I said, you have a Readymade. And the dad knew what that was. It was so cool. And we laughed. And the little boy was leaving the gift shop. And I was like, so where's your tricycle? And he stomped his foot and said, no. I said, we're not going to take it. He stomped his foot twice. Said, no. And I knew what he was saying because I'm good with preschoolers. I was like, he does not want us taking his tricycle for an exhibition at the VMFA for Readymades.